Every day, police rely on their vehicles in a number of ways. Whether it's on routine patrol, in hot pursuit, or speeding to the scene of an emergency, officers depend on their cruisers to get them where they need to go.
Our primary use is highway patrol, and so that sees everything from sitting at intersections, working wrecks, all the way up to high-speed pursuit, 120, 130, whatever we need to get.
Simply said, we require a car to be a variety of things. One car to meet the demands of 1,200 sworn law enforcement officers in Kansas City.
Quickly, reliably, whatever the job demands.
Right now, Ford is really the only one making a police car. It's a certified police car. There are other manufacturers that are coming out with other automobiles, but right now it's been Ford.
I think it's the marquee car for police right now. We've got some other options out there, front-wheel drive cars. We've tried them. They just have not proven to be as durable as the rear-wheel drive, full-size car, the Crown Vic.
In the past several months, media coverage has focused on several rear collision accidents involving police in Arizona. These involved speeds of 70 to 100 miles per hour and resulted in vehicle fires. Fires in accidents are extremely rare. Of all 200 million registered vehicles in the United States, about 12 million are involved in accidents every year. Of those, about 11,500 have fires. That means that there is less than a 0.01% risk of having a vehicle fire. Rear collisions are also rare, with fewer than 6% of all fatal accidents resulting from rear collisions. Most fatal collisions are head-on, with about a quarter involving collisions from the side. Even though this type of accident is extremely rare and unusual, these high-speed crashes have evoked concern.
As Vice President for Safety Engineering at Ford Motor Company, I just want to assure the police officers that the Crown Vic Police Interceptor is a very safe, reliable, and effective vehicle. We do recognize, however, the unusual circumstances in which the police use the vehicle and the high-risk jobs that they incur every day. And we're up to the challenge of making a safe vehicle even safer.
In July, Ford met with Arizona Attorney General Janet Napolitano in Dearborn, Michigan, and announced its Police Officer Safety Action Plan.
The Police Officer Safety Action Plan is divided into two areas. We've got the blue ribbon panel that is looking at policies and procedures, how the officer makes a traffic stop, how the cars are marked, what the officer carries in the trunk. And then we have the technical task force, and we're looking at the actual vehicle, things that we can do with the fuel system, perhaps a bladder in the fuel tank, shields on suspension components, and other areas like that.
The CVPI's overall safety record is remarkable. Despite its use in highly risky police work, it has a comparable accident and fire rate to similar mass-produced vehicles, most of which are used exclusively by civilians, who, as we all know, do not face the same risks as officers.
We drive 13 million miles a year in Kansas City. And there are probably agencies that will outrun us in terms of mileage driven and patrol, but for a city police department, that's substantial. And we certainly have a number of wrecks. We have 1.4 or 5 wrecks a day. We haven't had any rear-end fires. They've been attributed to rear-end accidents or fuel-related as a direct result of the accident.
Even when a high-speed collision happens, the CVPI frequently performs far beyond expectations. In these examples from across the country, there were no fuel leaks and no fires. In April of 2002, a semi struck from behind and pushed the rear portion of the vehicle into a 1-foot space behind the officer's seat. Remarkably, again, there was no fuel leak and no fire.
It was incredible that someone could survive this severe an impact. This is way out there at the extreme edge of severity.
One reason for the CVPI's favorable performance is Ford's testing program, which exceeds federal regulations and leads the industry. Ford tests 100% of its models at speeds of 35 and 50 miles per hour. Less than a third of industry models receive comparable tests. Ford works with police departments across North America to meet their specifications. The CVPI is tested independently by such agencies as the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and the Michigan State Police.
There's a variety of issues that we're taking a look at. They include the emergency lighting. There's new technology that's coming on board. It includes LED lighting. We're also taking a look at car interiors. How are we mounting equipment? Does that change the survivability in a crash? We're also taking a look at traffic stop procedures, how you specifically place your car during a traffic stop. Is it nosed in? Is it nosed out? Is it parallel and just slightly offset? We want to know if that affects the survivability in a crash. And we're also taking a look at trunk loading, how you place the equipment in the trunk, where you put it, and what kinds of equipment you put in the trunk.
I would have to say that probably the greatest thing you could do in terms of safety, as far as we're concerned, is make the car handle and perform better so that we can avoid accidents. The idea really is to avoid the accident in the first place.
We're investigating and testing shields. We're testing materials that could be used to increase puncture resistance on the fuel tank. We are looking at bladders in the fuel tank that might prevent any fuel spillage in the event of a puncture. These accidents are at extremely high speeds and high energy, so it's a little unpredictable as to what will happen to the vehicle and to the tank, and we are trying to make a robust system that would protect at speeds we haven't previously looked at.
Somewhere on the car you've got to carry between 25 and 30 gallons of gas. Do you do that midship somewhere? Do you put that literally inside the car, behind the back seat? It's just a tough issue.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has spent 8 years studying the location of the fuel tank, among other issues. In the agency's proposed rulemaking, fuel tank location was not mandated because they found that structural and component design is a more critical factor than fuel tank location in maintaining fuel system integrity.
Safety is our #1 priority at Ford, and we understand and value the relationship that we've had with the police officers over the last 20 years. We know they value the Crown Vic Police Interceptor, and we want to make this safe vehicle even safer.
Well, I think what they can do is exactly what they are doing, and that's they're asking the users of the car, how can we make this vehicle safer for you? I think that being attentive to the customer, being attentive to the end user, and taking those recommendations and implementing them, I think that's the best thing that they can do and the most expeditious.
Well, by making this videotape for law enforcement across the country, we hope that it's going to be more of a collaborative effort. Shouldn't be just one agency or a couple agencies. When an officer needs help, he calls for backup. We're putting the word out. Let's do the job together.
The CVPI has proved itself as a safe, effective vehicle for police use. But Ford is committed to making a safe car even safer for police. The Police Officer's Safety Action Plan is evidence of this commitment. In the near future, the findings of the Blue Ribbon Panel and the findings of the Technical Task Force will be made public, as will actions by Ford and various law enforcement agencies. This effort is important to everyone who cares about officer safety. Progress updates may be obtained by fleet personnel at fleet.ford.com or by the public at ford.com.